Hello, welcome. This is Amy, the Sick Rose Tarot. This is Tuesday, January 12th. I'm recording it the day before, but this is our third decan, our last decan reading for the sign of Capricorn in the month of Capricorn. This is for January 12th to the 20th of January, and then from there we move into the air sign, the visionary, the rebel sign of Aquarius. So with this reading, as hopefully many of you have seen in my past decan readings, I tend to use one deck as my guide, and then I use two, maybe three decks to emphasize the minor arcana influence for that decan. So I've been working with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, and it's been a wonderful guide for me for understanding from a different person's perspective how this person interprets the decans based on the signs and the planets, so on and so forth. So what I'm doing here is the last 2 weeks, the last two decan readings I've done, I've been focusing on the Lumina Tarot and the Tarot of the Holy Light, which I've been studying since probably September of last year. I've had the deck for a while, but it was until I met up with fellow tarot reader and astrologer, Julianne Victoria, that she expressed an interest, and we are taking the Tarot of the Holy Light as our own guide for our own practice and to gain more knowledge. So anyhow, you will see those cards in a moment. And then what I'm going to do is, since we are in our last decan for the sign of Capricorn, I'm going to reflect back on the previous two decans and the key words that were used to emphasize the energy and the direction for those decans. So I hope that made sense. So let's go right into it. So here, this is the Unified Esoteric Tarot. And the key word that we have here for this week, January 12th to the 20th, is ascension. Okay, and ascension is rising to a higher realm, having that moment of clarity, taking things up to the next level. And the planet, or I should say in this case, it's actually an asteroid, Ceres, is placed with Capricorn. And our minor arcana card of influence is the Four of Discs, Four of Pentacles or Four of Coins. So I will be showing the two cards that are related to the Four of Discs or Pentacles, and visually and meaning-wise, how they can differ and yet complement each other. So let me back up here. Let's talk a little bit briefly about Ceres in Capricorn. Ceres, as I mentioned, is an astrological, it's not a planet, it's a star, I guess you could say, and its influence, its roots, comes with Mother Earth, everything that is nurturing. It deals with our personal well-being, how we care for ourselves and how we care for other people. And it shows more the maternal side of who we are. And there are various websites. We don't hear a lot about Ceres, but at the time that you were born, Ceres was placed in a particular sign. So there's various websites that you could go to find out what sign Ceres was in the moment that you were born. And it actually stays there, I believe, for probably about a year or maybe up to 6 months. I think it's actually 6 months. And it shows its influence again at the moment of birth and how we emotionally connect to ourselves and others. So here we have Ceres and Capricorn. Okay, so here Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is of restrictions, limitation, karmic actions. It's basically, being called up to anything that you've done in the past, and it comes back to you, whether it's good or bad, and how you approach it, how you view it. It's a masculine. Capricorn is a masculine energetic sign. So with Ceres, we're being addressed to deal more with the feminine side of things. Ceres and Capricorn, their approach to care and well-being is more of doesn't come from the heart. It comes from a very focused, determined perspective. Okay, so if there is a need to care for their own selves, if you do have Ceres and Capricorn, the way you approach yourself is you won't let anything slack. Okay, so for instance, if there's an injury or if there's a health issue going on, you're not going to wait it out. You're going to go and jump into it, find all the information that you can about it, and learn as much as you can about what can be done to remedy or to lessen any of the issues with this health illness within yourself and also with others. You know, if you see someone who is struggling or someone who is in need of, you go to it very directly. You have a discipline effect to it. So it's taking that soft maternal approach, realizing that, you know, you're putting care and nurturing towards someone, but you take it less from the heart, but more from something that you really need to do. You have to do it. It's part of the practice of, you know, taking care of others. This is the way you do it. So you go ahead, do it, you take care of it, and then you move on. So there's not really that emotional, you know, leaning on the shoulder with Ceres and Capricorn, but they are reliable. They will get things done if it does come to taking care of yourself. So it's very important. So this is Ceres in Capricorn. And also, another aspect for taking care of yourself is changing your schedule, taking this time away from a very rigorous, you know, routine, the demands that the world is showing upon yourself and in your environment. Move away from it. Shut those things off. Take this moment to just take care of yourself. Unplug, shut the windows, stay home. How do you feel once the hustle and bustle of, you know, work and whatever, you come back home? How do you feel? More than likely, you probably feel depleted. You probably feel anxious. This is a time with Ceres and Capricorn to get to the matter. Get to the matter of what's, you know, of this. Modify things. Change things so that you don't have, when you go back, you don't have that nervousness. You don't have that anxiousness. You don't feel so depleted. It's a time of re-strengthening your soul, body, mind, and spirit. And in doing so, having that moment of stillness and looking within, you can start balancing things that weren't in balance. You know, what do I feel more of mentally? Am I just completely overwhelmed? What can you do to remedy that? Emotionally, heart, are you just feeling so stressed that you just can't think about going back to work the next day or a few days later? What can you do to take those aspects, those challenges within yourself and change it? Spend time to work on that. And in doing so, once you've brought the awareness to those different planes, in a sense, you are ascending. You are rising above those issues and you are moving on. You create yourself an open space, an open mind towards the external realm. Essentially, you can almost put a guard around you if you feel like it, but you are with the awareness that you can move beyond those challenging issues. And in turn, you start looking at the world with a receptive mind and heart. So again, with Ceres and Capricorn, it allows the expansiveness, self-care, bringing things of comfort, things that will ease what's going on. It's a form of self-healing, but again, with the sign of Capricorn, being disciplined and rigorous, they will go into it. They will look within themselves, but they will be very, very particular, very strict. They will have their own personal guidelines as to how they should take care of themselves, which is wonderful, but also ease up a little bit. Let the heart come in a little bit more. Okay, the whole point of Ceres is to kind of let go of that rigidity, that restriction that you have within yourself, those deadlines. Let it go a little bit, relax. And I know the fear with Capricorns too is that if you let go too much, it will be harder to regain that discipline again. If you are aware of that, you may have to put your own boundaries, if you will, but also soften. Just give that space for a little bit more love and self-care for yourself. It's the awareness. So this is for the week of January 12th to the 20th, Ceres and Capricorn. One thing I want to point out before I move on to the other cards is these are associated, the Ceres in Capricorn and the dates of the decans. These are fixed. Okay, I always emphasize this. I don't want people to think this is currently where Ceres is in Capricorn. Ceres is in a different sign, more than likely. And you can use the current astrological placements of wherever Ceres is right now, the moon sign, the placement of the planets. You can intertwine all those current placements with this card. You use Ceres as that guide and the other planets to kind of strengthen and direct you the best way to deal with this. I would say Ceres because it does deal with Mother Earth and healing and self-care, to maybe see any of the water signs, particularly Cancer, because Cancer is ruled by the moon and it is a nurturing sign of care, and they put themselves second to other people. They look after people first and then they take care of themselves. Maybe use the sign of Cancer as a guide. See where Cancer is, if it is in any of the planetary houses, and if it's properly placed, use that energy, use that influence, and apply it to Ceres in Capricorn. Capricorn's an earth sign. One of the elements that's needed with Earth is water. Water is nurturing. Water is replenishing. So look towards Cancer during this week and just see where you could pull in those attributes of caring for oneself and for others, and apply it to the sign of Cancer with Ceres influences. Okay, so we also have here for the Four of Pentacles. This is the astrological minor arcana card of influence. Each decan, there is a minor arcana card associated. Now, when you look at the Golden Dawn attributes, those are going to be, the dates are going to be different, slightly different by a few days, and the planetary placements are going to be different. So we have here, as I mentioned, Ceres, Capricorn. If you look at the Golden Dawn astrological attributes, it may actually say that for this week, it's actually the Sun in Capricorn, which basically you use the placement of Capricorn in its sun sign, which we are in, and you would use that as your focus, as your influence, as your drive, as your foundation for getting things done for that week. But for now, I'm focusing with the Unified Esoteric Tarot because it does apply a different approach, and I want to expand and try to understand and learn from this deck and the different planetary placements in opposed to the Golden Dawn attributes. So with that being said, we have the Four of Pentacles, Four of Discs, Four of Coins. And the Four of Pentacles overall, I'm going to give a brief backdrop of what the Four of Pentacles is in general, and then show you the cards and their own meanings. So the Four of Pentacles is, we're starting to see a progression. We're starting to see good results of the work that we are putting towards a goal, towards an idea, concept within ourselves. You know, if we're trying to make changes within ourselves, we're starting to see it. And everything is looking right. Everything is feeling like it's in the right place. And we have the stability. We have the four corners. We're seeing stability on the upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right. We're starting to see that structure form. And it is maintained this balance of worldly matter and also the possessive nature that we have while we are taking care and managing and manifesting what we are trying to achieve. So we have to be careful too. You know, worldly matter, what I mean by matter, because Pentacles is seen as something that is material, but it can also reflect who we are within ourselves. Health, our body. Our body is material. You know, it's something that we could see, tactile. Pentacles involves what we physically see, feel, touch, the senses. So in this case, as we are growing and maturing what we're working on, we may become overly protective of it. We can be protective, which is needed. You don't want any outside sources or any outside elements that come in and kind of turn things around or influence. So it's okay to have that possessive nature. But in this case with the Four of Pentacles, it's best, because everything is in its own place, everything is in its right place, is to just temporarily let it be. You can look at it, you know, let's say you're working on a painting, you're looking at it, you're getting that thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put that gray there. Maybe I should have done this. Let it go. Walk away from it. You know, I'm guilty of this when I've worked on projects. It's like, don't change it. Sit on your hands, you know, leave the room, put the project, cover the project with a towel or lock it in a closet. Move away from it. Give this item, this entity, this goal, direction, space to breathe. And you'll know when it's time to come back to it. Because, you know, when there are times when I do readings, I do a reading, and especially if it's intense, you know, my mind is and energy seeing so many different things, feeling so many different things, I don't want to start immediately interpreting it unless I feel a draw and I'm getting all the answers there. I walk away from it. I let it sit. And the feelings that I have, the energy that I feel from it, if I still feel the same about it from when I first laid the cards out, or from when I first put that paint on the canvas, or those lines in the drawing or anything like that, if it still feels like it's in the right direction and there's no change, continue onward, but don't do it immediately. Give it some time to breathe, you know. And there's, you know, we do this on the occasion, you know, we get so over anxious about what we're creating. We're getting excited. It's just like, oh yeah, let's do this, do this. You do it and you wake up the next day, or you look at it, you know, a few hours later, it's like, why did I do that? Why did I let it go? You know, and that's something that happened recently. And I almost had to pay for it in relation to some damage, but it was okay and it worked out. So just leave things as it is. Don't over control it. So that's a general sense of the Four of Pentacles. Okay, give it space. Look at the beauty of what's being created right before your eyes. Walk away from it. Okay, so with the Lumina Tarot, this is the beautiful Lumina Tarot. Here's our Four of Pentacles. Okay, so here we have the dualities, very similar to what I was just describing, of balancing progression and our own happiness. Don't let our happiness and excitement overtake what we're seeing right now. And when you look at this card is just, everything is in place. We have the bee, which spirit animal wise represents hard work, dedication, consistently, adding more and seeing growth from what it's creating. We see the beehive, so on and so forth. And on the four corners here, we're seeing the I can't think of the word. We're starting to see the growth of the flowers. We're starting to see the plants. Nothing looks dead. Nothing looks like it's withering. The energy has been rightly placed. You've done all the right actions, and you are putting all the right sources and energy and nourishment into this project. These are the fruits of one's labor that is showing signs of strong development. So again, let it go. Don't second guess yourself. Don't think so far ahead what you want to do, because what you may think at that time, when you feel like you're halfway there, may be different a few hours later, days, weeks, whenever you return to your project. Everything is stable here. And with that stability, let it build on itself. Let it build upon itself what needs to be added for continued growth. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So it is what it is. Leave it like it is. And if it isn't something quite where you want it to be, again, like Ceres and Capricorn, just move away. Just move away from it. If there's some second guessing or anything, could be some issues that are going on within the creator. Why are you thinking about changing this? Why are you thinking about possibly destroying this and starting over again? Do not take action at this time with the Four of Pentacles. So if there is any second guessing or feeling that draw that you really have to start over, stop. Do not touch. Because it could be something that you need to remove, destroy, change within yourself. Work on that and then see how you feel, and then go back to your project. So that's with the Lumina Tarot. Okay, so now here is the Tarot of the Holy Light. Okay, so this is the Four of Discs. Tarot of the Holy Light is an esoteric deck. It is very intense. It's intimidating for a few tarot readers because they see so much information. They don't know where to begin. They don't know how to interpret this deck. And all I could say is use that influence of Ceres with working with the Tarot of the Holy Light. Okay. Take that time and just really look at the card. And, the best way to look at the Tarot of the Holy Light is see it as a whole. And then you start breaking the imagery down into details. Don't go into details first. It's like, what does this moon mean? Why is it positioned like this? What are these birds doing here? Okay. First, look at it generally. How do you interpret this? So with the Four of Pentacles, or Four of Discs in the Tarot of the Holy Light, the creator, Christine King Taylor, takes a completely different approach to this card. And actually throughout the whole major and minor arcana, because it does not follow RWS. Here, we're seeing a different approach as to how one approaches something that has already been developed. She makes reference to the inheritance of success. Okay, so this is someone who has already received achievement, success, something that was passed down to them. It could be money. It could be spiritual inheritance. But this is someone who this has just been handed down to them. And they don't know how to work with this. And so with this card, It breaks down the challenges with someone, the challenges that someone faces when they don't know too much of what they're inheriting. And so in this time, this is where you start using willpower, drive, ambition. You've just been inherited something very unique. And it's something that you like because it's something that you're interested in, excited about, because it's something that you have not yet explored. You have that curiosity, hopefully. You have that curiosity. You have that want, that desire to know what it is. Start using that drive to explore, to find out more about it. And then the more you connect to it, you'll have that willpower. You'll have the ambition to learn more. And more than likely, before you know it, you will envelop yourself with what has been inherited and adding your own insight, experience into what you've attained. And you pass it down to the next generation. Okay, and the same with the Four of Pentacles RWS-wise. The same thing, we're putting all of our knowledge, energy, our know-how into this. And then we're going to, if followed directly, making right choices and right actions, we will have something very beautiful, very enriching to share with people. And then people will see that. Current generation will see that and they go, wow, I'm inspired by this. And then they will take influence from that and on and on and on. I'm not an astrologer. I'm learning the very simple aspects of astrology, and I'm just keeping it to the signs, the planets, the decans, and the houses when it comes to transits, aspects. Again, I've said this before in previous videos, I leave it to the professionals, so I don't want to start talking about transits because I'm not an astrologer, and I'm not studying in that direction. But just to let you know, with this card in the Tarot of the Holy Light, there's a strong Venus influence. Venus in Aries and Venus in Scorpio. It's the upright of Venus in Aries, which is energy, that ambition, that willpower. And then the detriment is when the card is reversed, where it goes against, is Venus in Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio we know is a sign of mystery, deep subconscious work, the darker side of things. And that can actually hold back that energy, if you get this card in reverse, for Aries. Okay, Scorpio is a water sign. It's a fixed sign. Aries is the cardinal sign. It's the first sign of spring. So there's all this energy that's been saved up and worked on since the winter months, and it's ready to show its stuff. But if it's reversed in Scorpio, it's going to dampen all that energy. And as we know, Aries is a fire sign and does not work well with water. So with this, the eagle itself, we're seeing opposing energy. Okay, we don't see so much the influence of physically. We don't see so much the influence of Scorpio if it's reversed. I'll reverse the card here. Okay, these four orbs represent the four elements: water, air, fire, and earth. And this is the basis for the Four of Discs. With any of the of coins, wands, cups, swords, with any of those suits, these four elemental influences come into play. Okay, so we have an emphasis here on the discs, but we also need to find the balance within earth, stability, water for connecting to ourselves, air for thinking, making proper thoughts to encompass everything that we want to move forward with. So we have to create that balance. 4 elements and all the suits are essential. So to go with the eagle actually represents, it's like the phoenix rising from the flames. It's the wisdom. It's the awareness. This is the individual who has taken what it has received, what it has inherited, and it's put in all that energy to understand it and to learn and to grow from it. And it's done this by overcoming those obstacles. It went through the challenges of trying to figure out the ins and outs of what it has been received, and it has grown and understood and has gained wisdom from it. And if you look closely here, we see the halo, the rays here from the sun, showing the energy of awakening and rising from the flames. Then here we have the moon. Another way we could see this card is like this. The moon doesn't seem to be very happy. And this could be related to the Scorpio aspect. Scorpio isn't ruled by the moon, but it is, the moon is water influenced. So we can maybe see here, the moon is also known as an illusionary star. So it could be, in this case, not placed in a way that it sees things the way that it should. And it's getting lost in its feelings, and it's just not clear emotionally what's going on. That's if it's detriment, if it is reversed. Okay. But the key for this is, facing those challenges in a difficult environment. And again, whatever has been handed down to you, inheritance-wise, this can come in the form of, personal inheritance, something that you've learned from someone. It could be financial. Also, it could be spiritual, self-discovery. You've been put on a path that just is something fascinating, but you don't know much about it. And you will face challenges, and you will face understandings. You will face 2 steps forward, one step back, all of those. Overcome it. Okay? And again, with the 4 of discs, by facing all those challenges and what we've received, we retain that balance. We retain harmony within, without, above, and below. So it's interesting with the Tarot of the Holy Light, because when you break down the meaning of the cards, the way Christine Payne-Taylor has discussed it, you will see a similarity with the way that we normally see the RWS interpretation of these cards. Okay, Tarot of the Holy Light's very philosophical. And when I was doing my live discussion with Julianne this weekend, Julianne Victoria, and the more we were talking, we would pull quotes from the book and give our interpretation of the cards. The book is actually a self-help book at the same time. It's more than astrology, the Kabbalah, tree of life, alchemy, all of this. It gives you insight as to how you would handle throughout these different suits situations. They're not so direct. They go deeper in. And so the book is almost 500, Tarot of the Holy Light. I'll show you it really quickly. And I love this book. I'm telling people, and I will say it over and over again, you'll get tired of me saying this, but I feel this is how thick it is. I feel if you get this deck, and there's no pushing, I'm not being paid for any of this. I just love the philosophy behind this. If you get the deck, explore it. Take time. This isn't a deck that you jump in and just like, okay, what you know of the RWS or the Doth interpretation of all these suits, it's not going to be the same. You can apply the knowledge that you have, but it's going to be different. This will take those concepts, the Doth and RWS, and take it deeper. Doth is intense, but this takes it to a different level. And so it's cerebral, but you take your time with looking at these images and the deck. It's beautiful. And some people, they don't like, oops, excuse me, that's my hair. Some people don't like the deck because it's too collagey, it's too, as I mentioned earlier, it's too busy. I love it. When I first got this deck, I gotta wrap it up because I'm talking too much about this. When I got this deck, it just wowed me. It was everything that I was looking for. Robert M. Place has the Alchemical Tarot, which is second place to this deck. But this deck, because of all the imagery and whatnot, there's so much more to read into it. Astrologically, too, it's different from Western astrology, the placement and the positions of, can't see here. Here we have Mercury in Taurus. For the Four of Discs, like I mentioned here with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, the Four of Discs is placed in Ceres in Capricorn. And I believe with the Golden Dawn astrological attributes, this third decan is actually the Sun in Capricorn. I could be wrong. So the planetary placements are different. So you take it with a grain of salt, how this works. And that's why I want to step out of the Golden Dawn, because it's pretty apparent in some decks where they emphasize astrological influences, they use that Golden Dawn aspect. But again, I want to look at these other decks and see how they interpret, how they envision the decans within the minor arcana. So it's very fascinating. Dana, hi. I'm going to finish up here, and I had this for private. I didn't think anyone was watching this, so this is actually going to be going up tomorrow, so you can replay and take a look at it. But I'll answer your question or give feedback to your comment in a moment. I want to back up to the first two decans for Capricorn. Okay, so here we are for Ascension. This is for the week of January 12th to the 20th. And again, using that energy of Ceres, Mother Earth, nurturing self-care. But again, with Capricorn will take that more in a decisive, direct manner. They know they have to take care of things, but they'll go into it emotionally. They won't be soft about the situation. If it's within themselves or someone else, if someone needs to go to the hospital, they will make sure that person gets to the hospital, that they get into their room okay. It's all of that. Capricorn's very manageable, managerial oriented. I have Capricorn in my 10th house, so I understand that. But I also have one or two signs in Cancer, and I know the softening side of that being a little bit more connective with the person's feelings. So this is for 12th to the 20th of January. This is our last decan for the month of Capricorn. And our second, okay, remember what I was saying here. We have Ascension. So Ascension is by taking care of your own needs, your own self, taking a time out, and just locking yourself away from the world. Shutting that stuff down. It's really easy, if you slow things down. That's what this is all about, Ceres in Capricorn. Slow things down. Reconnect to who you are. Take care of yourself. And then when you feel strong enough and ready, you could go back to the world and take, again, ascension. You can tackle the world activities again at a better mindset. Spiritually, you're not feeling so overwhelmed. It takes time to do that. You're conditioning your body. And there's some people who can take on any challenges, and emotionally, spiritually, it doesn't affect them. They're able to stay grounded and connected with themselves and get things done. So our previous decan for January 2nd to the 11th was for protection. And this was Earth in Capricorn. And we were using the three of discs. Okay, I don't want to go into a long video discussing this, but basically the protection aspect is the environment that Capricorn puts itself in to get its work done. No distractions. Let's, again, like I mentioned, separate yourself so you can be in a focused place, so you can get your work done, so you can do whatever has to be done without any distractions. Protecting your own self in your own environment. If it means putting on a certain kind of music, putting on candles, create the environment that you need to work in to get things done. Okay, and then the Three of Discs is what we would see before the Four of Pentacles. I'm just going to show you this. Okay, so we're starting to see growth. We see the seed. We're starting to see that plant. These are the steps towards the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so we're starting to see the structure. Okay. Remember, 2, 3, and 4 is all related to Capricorn, but they're planetarily placed differently. But we're starting to see the structure. And here with the Lumina Tarot, this is a wonderful connection. We see the triangle as above, so below for balance. We're seeing the constant movement. We need to keep this energy going to continue the progression to, whoops, it says Four of Pentacles there. It's just the way the lighting is, to get to this stage. Okay, so that was for January 2nd to the 11th, protection. Protecting our investment, making sure that we are feeding it properly and building in what is needed. Okay, so our first Decan, December 22nd to January 1st. Okay, here was Saturn in Capricorn. Okay, and again, I need to emphasize, these are fixed placements within these cards. These are guidance. Okay, it's not the current placement of where the planet was in the sign at this time. Again, you can use those influences of current planetary placements in their signs as reinforcement for these cards, as extra guidance. Saturn is perfect in Capricorn. Okay, it's masculine energy. It is karmic energy. So again, anything that has been done in the past, if it comes back to you, how are you approaching it? How are you handling it? Are you ignoring it? Are you aware of it? And you're taking matters into your own hands to manage it and to move on from it? And the discipline, the structure, forming. And so we have here our keywords, discipline. So we have the 2, 3, and 4 of discs. Discipline, protection, if you look above, protection, and then ascension. For each decan, we work on those aspects. And because I only have Capricorn in one house throughout my astrological chart, what I've decided to do, I've been working on this probably since September, regardless if I have that influence of that sign in my chart or not. I'm using the energy and the characteristics of each sign as we go into the next, we're in the last two of the astrological cycle. Aquarius is next, and then Pisces. I will be incorporating the positive aspects of those signs into how I do things, my actions, my work, interacting with people. And if you don't have those signs, use it. You will find how much much more connected you can be with things, with yourself, with others. And if it's a sign that you don't relate to, like Aquarius, I have no Aquarius in me. I've only met a few Aquariuses. I like their thinking, but I can't connect to it, because they're in their own realm. But I like their process, but on a one-to-one basis, personality-wise, it's different. So when you're facing with something that you don't understand, remember what I was saying here with the Four of Discs, Tarot of the Holy Light, you are giving the opportunity to face a challenge. In this case, it's an astrological sign challenge. And it's like, what is it that bothers you about this particular sign? Or what is it that enlivens you about this sign? You know, pull it apart, look into it. That's the Virgo side of me. And just try not to get too much into it, but just try to understand and go with it and see what you can pull and apply to yourself with those signs. So it's wonderful. So just going back now full circle to our Four of Pentacles as guidance, use this card. Okay, I'm going to show you this really quickly. The Four of Pentacles for balancing wisdom, your own well-being, and joy in what is being created. And by keeping those aspects, those characteristics, that kind of energy, that drive, continue on that path, and you will end up with a successful outcome. It involves discipline, focus, but again, like with the previous two decans, had discipline and protection. You know, you do have to have some form of limits, but, you know, keep things moving. If things are feeling right, you're making right choices, right actions, keep going with it. But with the Four of Pentacles, let's just take a moment to stop, look at where we are. Okay, because we're going to be going into the sign of Aquarius, and we're not moving into Five of Pentacles, we're moving into a new element. So we're going to be moving into Swords. So we're going to probably be doing, I believe it's going to be the Five of Swords. And that aspect of it. And five, we know of conflicts, challenges, you know, detours. So how to handle that. So I will discuss that when we get to that decan, and explore what Aquarius has for us. Aquarius has a very big year, and it's been astrologically in the communities well known because of the Uranus and Saturn conjunction during winter solstice, opposing planets and their energies, both in the sign of Aquarius. So I would find that as a sign of harmony, making peace with something that's disciplined, structure of Saturn with Aquarius, and that also works for Aquarius because it allows that structure of discipline to put things in order. Aquarius, you know, all these ideas, but this will actually influence anyone who has Saturn in Aquarius right now to really get their ideas centered and, you know, put some rigid thought in forming it very well. And then Uranus in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius is expansive. So it'll honor that space of Aquarius to think and to move freely, so on and so forth. But that Saturn in Aquarius will be a very good sign for them. So we'll see. We'll see what that holds. Okay, let me look at your questions, Dana. Oh, you were? Okay, thank you. Yes, you do have the book, Dana. If you can, don't feel pressured. You know, I'm slowly leaking this book out. This book, I think the deck is now going into, I have to see here. Tarot of the Holy Light was 2015. So it's about, we're going to 6 years. And, you know, it's unfortunate. I tend to move to decks that are, I'm not going to say the underdog, but I go for decks that a lot of people don't know about. And I have supported some decks that have been created independently, but a lot of them don't suit the direction of where I want to go. So I find decks for different purposes, and it works wonderfully for me. But a lot of the decks I have, people don't know about, or it doesn't resonate with them, and that's totally fine. Let's see. Second house, 8 degrees, Mercury and Capricorn. Your second house is 8 degrees. I'm guessing Mercury in Capricorn. That's good. You know, Mercury is about communication and you know how we think things out, and that's really good for Capricorn. I know it's an air sign, that could be a challenge, but at the same time, again, it allows that expansiveness of Mercury, giving the space for Capricorn to think of all those ideas, but Capricorn can draw all these ideas and form it into one, similar to Aquarius being in Saturn. So we have air element and earth putting all those things that are floating around and honing it into, you know, one set form idea. You know, you don't have too many different ideas. Some people think that way, but it's always best to have that one idea that really connects to you and get it going. Yeah, get the deck. I hope it's still available. The version that I have, I put it back here. This version I got was about a year ago. The packaging's different. This is the deluxe. The company work with it. Bring your knowledge, your lack of knowledge. Have this open mind to learning how to work with this deck. And for me, again, specifically, I'm focusing just on the decans and the signs, planets, and how they all influence the different aspects of the arcanum, the major and minor arcanum. So that's it. This went on a little bit long, but that's totally fine. Dana, thank you so much for watching. I do, for those who are watching this from Tuesday onward, you will be able to watch the Mystic Moon Mondays. It'll be uploaded the same with this video, ready to be viewed by tomorrow. So I will see you on January 21st, 22nd, give or take. I will be doing more videos, and I'm going to be part of some other channels in the next week or two, and I'll put posts about this. But I thank everyone who watches this. My channel's very small. I'm growing, but I'm starting to, I don't want to say get my confidence, but I'm starting to feel comfortable more as I learn the astrological aspects and speaking about them. So it's a journey, and I love it so far. So thank you for everyone who watches, your support. I have a website. Everything's in the description. I won't repeat it. So if you want to communicate with me, you can reach me through the website, Instagram, Patreon. I need to start posting and promoting Patreon. I have certain tiers there that if you are interested, I appreciate your support for this, because this is a love that is growing, and I want to do this full-time if at all possible. Let's see, you wrote down one other thing. Clips on my, okay, yeah, Sagittarius, you know, the knowledge seeker, seeing what's beyond the horizon. You're on your journey, you're taking in all this energy, you know, exploring, meeting people, traveling. Could also be spiritually traveling. You know, reading, it's another form of traveling in that sense, knowledge-wise. So it's an excellent way. So keep that Sagittarian energy good, grounded. And again, for this decan, use the groundingness, the discipline of Capricorn during this last week to guide you, you know, for certain things that you're learning about and discovering. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Amy, Mystic Rose Tarot. I will see you soon. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.